From my point of view and my background as a vice president of procurement in a very major corporation, and as I say, with 3,000 active suppliers, whenever I traveled my 200,000 miles a year and met with anyone who was doing business with my corporation, here's what I thought. I went out there with the intention of finding suppliers and vendors that could give me the price that we negotiated, that could get the thing delivered on time, and would be good quality. If they happen to be a woman, if they happen to be a minority, if they happen to be gay or lesbian, or they happen to be a disabled service veteran, fine. But my principal focus was on performance. You say, Sam?
I say, wow, sounds like you were amazing at your job. Of course, that should be your principal focus. You know, in that procurement space, it's always going to be the best bid that takes the business. And that is absolutely how it should be. And there's nothing that we want to do that wants to change that. That great article that you found, which I'm very proud of that article, it ran in hundreds of thousands of markets because it was picked up by the AP. What we're referring to is the creation of a certification that identifies LGBT-owned businesses, just as we have for minority and women and others. And the idea is to get them to the table to make that bid. I want procurement professionals like yourself to actually have the widest and most diverse pool of candidates to choose from. I think competition is really good in those situations. Sometimes the most innovative solution is going to come from a new player who's coming to the table. And at the heart of supplier diversity, where the trends are now, that's what it's about. It's about getting the most diverse pool of contractors to bid. And they may bring the most innovative solution, and if they don't, they're not going to win the business. But we know if we can get them to the table for opportunities, they're going to compete and they're going to win business, and they're going to serve companies like the one you worked for very well.
So how, the next logical question would be, what is the National Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce? And how does it serve your community, and how is it going to help be, I guess, a conduit to the corporate America?
Well, actually, I love that short description. I might steal that and use it sometime. That's really good. The National Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce is a global organization whose sole mission is the economic advancement of the LGBT business owner. We created LGBT supplier diversity with the intent of making sure that those LGBT businesses could get access to those amazing opportunities in corporate supply chains, municipal procurement opportunities, government contracting opportunities. What we created was a business certification so that folks like yourself in procurement could identify, yes, indeed, this is a certified business. We know that this is a business that may or may not have had opportunities before. And if you do choose to do business with one of them because they gave you the winning bid, the companies that are actively working in supplier diversity will record that spend so that they can have a meaningful record of what kind of investment they're giving back to all diverse communities.
Okay, so do we have like two different people here? Because I know Jenn is a successful entrepreneur, right? However, you have just started your business, right? You're an entrepreneur, but you are also a small business?
I'm a small business owner.
Okay, so have Jenn first and then yourself, Rick. Explain to me what it was that Sam said, how you interface with this organization, because you're vice president of the Connecticut.
Yes. So Sam, if you take nothing from what she said other than this one word, is access. That is entirely it. So because of my relationship with the NGLCC and my ability to say that I'm a certified business, I have access to hundreds and hundreds of LGBT-owned businesses across the country, additionally here in Connecticut, and then to those corporate partners. So they have 140 corporate partners, I believe, is the current number. And just going back to what you had said in the beginning of you're looking for the person who's going to give you the best result, right? That's all you cared about as a procurement person.
Quality, delivery, cost.
Result.
Right.
So I get this access to you, but it's still my job to make sure that I'm going to deliver exactly what you need, or else.
Okay, I want to make sure that I understand, Jenn.
Yes.
How do you get, what's the relationship between the corporate vice president, right, and the LGBT Chamber of Commerce and you, the individual? How Do they provide, do they provide access for you? Explain to me how that
In a lot
works.
of different ways. So the NGLCC has their corporate partners, and then as you mentioned, there's the Greater Connecticut Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, in which I've been involved in for many, many years. So there's also corporate partners of that local organization. And it's Sam's job, essentially, to be the connector, to be the conduit, to say, hey, Jen, I know this corporation is looking for your service. Let me help you do that. So
Okay.
they do it formally and they do it very informally.
Okay, and how about for you?
So as far as my experience, I don't know as much on your end how it all works, but I actually found the local chamber, the CTGLC, and noticed that there was this certification I can go through, and it gives me access. Actually, I brought one today
Hold
to
that
show
up.
you.
Hold that up right to the camera right there. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's your certification.
This is my certification.
And that was awarded to you by whom?
This comes from the NGLCC,
Okay.
but I do work with the state chamber to actually
Okay.
go through the process.
Okay.
So-
So you were saying that what did you have to do to earn that?
Well, that was actually a big concern of mine going into this. I wasn't sure, how do I prove that I'm a gay business owner? But it's a lot like an RFP process, going out to bid and basically filling out forms and really just making sure I follow steps 1 through 10, providing some documentation. And then there's an interview process as well with the local chamber. Someone came out to my office, make sure I'm in business and legit. You know, I got some good news afterwards that I was certified and I was ready to jump in. Yeah.
And how's it worked out for you?
Well, you know, I'm on the diving board and I'm ready to dive.
You ready to dive?
But I haven't gone yet. So I'm very new to the certification.
And you're in Wallingford, Connecticut,
I
right,
am.
Rick?
Yeah.
Okay, so your principal business is the marketing and the branding, right? You
Correct.
indicated? Okay.
You know, what we see with business owners that gain the certification, you know, ultimately, if you're looking at the growth of a business as a journey, grabbing this process and getting a certification is a first step. And it helps you gain access to many of these opportunities, particularly through supplier diversity. As you mentioned from the article, over a third of the Fortune 500 recognizes this certification and is actively seeking these suppliers. So, you know, now Krative, this business has taken a step. Now they're in our database. They can be found by supplier diversity and procurement professionals that are looking for their services. And they may also find, and actually these two businesses are great examples of companies that are going to find a lot of opportunity doing business with other diverse suppliers, perhaps as prime contractors to corporations, but more likely as subcontractors, so diverse businesses working with each other. I know Jenn's story very well because we go back quite a long ways, and she has many clients that are other certified LGBT business enterprises, and we see this in all diverse communities. These small businesses work
Right.
with each other to create opportunities for each other and elevate entire communities.
You were going to say something before, I think, and I went back to Rick. Do you remember what you were?
I was, but I don't know if it's relevant. But all I was going to say is you were talking about what does it actually take to
Right.
become a certified business, and it's being owned, managed, operated, and controlled by 51% of a majority of whatever that group is. So in this case, we're talking about LGBT. So you have to own the company, operate it, manage it, and control it. And that is what is the big thing to be able to prove in order to be certified.
So why is the connection that has been made between the LGBT Chamber of Commerce, corporate America, and the individual business person, why is that important to the growth opportunity to the small and medium-sized businesses? Why do you think?
You know, I think if I can...
Go ahead, go right ahead.
From my perspective, you know, I am a smaller business. I have a few employees, right? And when I realized that I can gain access to these large corporate partners, that was amazing to me. You know, I thought that was a great opportunity. And then realizing not too long after that I can actually partner with people like Jenn and other LGBT BE enterprises, you know, there's a huge pool of opportunity of growth and collaboration. And I think that that's great for the economy.
But you know,